We are doing a dosing problem. In this problem, the physician has ordered this med 1.5 grams oral suspension every 8 hours. Based on the label, how much will you instruct the child's mother to administer per dose at home in teaspoons? We can approach this problem using dimensional analysis, the nursing formula, or a proportion. We'll start by looking at the dimensional analysis approach. In the dimensional analysis approach, we'll start with the ordered amount of 1.5 grams. We'll place this over a placeholder 1. In the next fraction, we would like to cancel the grams. So we would like grams on the bottom of our fraction. However, when I look at the label, the med is available in milligrams. So I'll take this opportunity to convert grams to milligrams. I know that 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, which allows me to cancel the label of grams. My next fraction, I would like to cancel the label of milligrams. So I put the milligram label on the bottom. When I read the label of the medication, there are 375 milligrams per 5 milliliters, so I'll fill in these numbers. This allows me to cancel the milligrams. I'm asked to solve the problem in teaspoons, so I have to remember my milliliter to teaspoon conversion. In my next fraction, milliliters will need to go on the bottom so that it cancels. And I recall that there are 5 milliliters per 1 teaspoon. Now when I look through my problem, grams is canceled, milligrams is canceled, milliliters is canceled, and my answer will be in teaspoons. So I'm ready to do the math. On my calculator, I take 1.5 times 1,000 times 5. I divide by 375, and I divide again by 5. When I complete all of this, I end up with an answer of 4 teaspoons. Next, we'll take a look at the same problem using the nursing formula. In the nursing formula, we put the desired amount over what we have on hand and multiply by the quantity. The desired amount is the doctor's order of 1.5 grams. What we have on hand is on the label, and we have 375 milligrams. The quantity that is in is also on the label, and it is 5 milliliters. Now, we have a problem because the labels do not give us the answer that we want, and the labels do not cancel. And so first problem that I'm going to address is that the labels between desired and have do not match. So I'm going to use my King Henry, and on King Henry, grams is a base unit, and so I'll need to move my decimal 3 places to get from the base to milligrams. So I'll move my decimal from the base 1, 2, 3 places. I'm going to cross this out, fill in those zeros, and I have 1,500 milligrams. Now I've taken care of my first problem. My labels between desired and have match and therefore cancel, which is important in the nursing formula. Second problem that I have is that I'm supposed to find an answer in teaspoons, but this is in milliliters. So I need to convert the quantity over to teaspoons. Thankfully, it's an easy problem because the 5 milliliters that I have here is exactly the same as 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to cancel this out and replace it with 1 teaspoon. My labels are now canceled between desired and have. The quantity is the label that I want my answer to be, and so I'm ready to do the math. I'll take 1,500 divide by 375, and I get my answer of 4 teaspoons. Our final approach is to look at a proportion. Proportions are made out of equal fractions. To start the proportion problem, I start with what is ordered, which is 1.5 grams. I place this over what I would like to convert it to, and I would like it to convert to teaspoons, so x teaspoons. Typically, the second fraction is made out of the strength of the medication. Here we read that the medication is 375 milligrams per 5 mLs. So I'll fill them in, even though it doesn't make a proportion. The reason why this does not make a proportion is because in a proportion the labels from the two fractions must be identical. On the left I have grams over teaspoons, on the right I have milligrams over milliliters. None of my labels match. So I need to take care of some conversions. One conversion that I can do is using the metric line. So if I think through, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk full of microorganisms. Grams is a base unit, and I can move my decimal to convert it into milligrams to make the top labels match. So from the base unit, I'll need to move my decimal 3 places to get to milligrams, and so this can be replaced by 1,500 milligrams. Now the tops of my fractions match, so I'm closer to solving and closer to having a proportion. I also need to make the bottoms of my fractions match. Here I have teaspoons, here I have milliliters. I want my answer to be in teaspoons, so I do not want to change the teaspoons. Thankfully, it's an easy problem because 5 milliliters is exactly the same as 1 teaspoon. So I'll replace the 5 milliliters with 1 teaspoon. I'm going to rewrite my proportions so that it's easier to see. My first fraction is 1,500 milligrams over x teaspoons. My second fraction is 375 milligrams over 1 teaspoon. Now I can see that it is truly a proportion. Milligrams on the top of both fractions, teaspoons on the bottom of both fractions. I'm ready to do the cross product, so I'll multiply on the first diagonal and get 1,500. On the second diagonal, I get 375x. To solve this, I divide both sides by 375, and that gives an answer of x equals 4 teaspoons.